Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul, the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan Lopresti, and I'm super excited because I have with me today Mary Crawford, who is an energy intuitive and a healer. And I met her in the networking group, and we just seemed to hit it off. And I asked her to join me on my podcast because she has so many interesting things going on in her business, and I just thought that it would be wonderful for you to meet her. So let me give you a little bit of information about Mary. She's been empowering women for over 20 years. Her unique remote energy healing and life coaching services are designed for those who are open to new possibilities. Using quantum physics principles, she uncovers hidden beliefs that may be holding you back in your business, in relationships, or in your health. And her goal is to help you to remember that you are a powerful creator of your joy-filled life. She also gives you tools and guides you as you learn to heal yourself, which is really interesting here. Some of the tools that she deals with are emotional energy, others tackle physical toxins, and she wants to see you living a joyful life in a vital and a healthy body. Her background included a degree in special education, work with hearing impaired teens as a tutor and also an interpreter. She also worked with at-risk teens through the Urban League, several certifications in energy healing techniques, and many years of studying nutrition, herbs, and essential oils, and other alternative ways of healing the body and the spirit. So, Mary, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. And I want to start at the beginning, and that is to ask you, at what point in your life did you begin to realize that you had these special gifts?
Okay, well, thank you for having me here. First of all, I appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you.
I,
Thank you.
I always love talking about how powerful we are. And I think women especially are just beginning to understand that, really, in the whole history of the human race. So how did I start? Um, I think I've always been a healer. I was kind of like the Dr. Mom person that my siblings all came to when things were going on. Even my parents would come to me and say, what do I do for this and what do I do for that? When I was, before I even got started with the energy work. So nutrition has been a big part of it. Having a special education background, working with those kids, I knew that nutrition was a big part of what could help them have a healthier and more productive life. So I really dove into that part of it pretty early on. And then when my youngest was born, he had some issues that led us to a really unique pediatrician who had traveled the world to study different types of healing because she wasn't happy with what was going on with Western medicine. And she was a master dowser. She worked with a lot of different energy healing techniques. And she, first of all, taught me how to dowse, which is using a tool like a pendulum or dowsing rods to connect to your higher self and understand, just get the truth, because your body knows the truth about everything. So she taught me that. And she also told me that I should be doing this energy work, which had, surprised me. I never had even thought about it. So I started looking into it, started studying it, started taking different classes, and it just came really naturally to me. It just became kind of an extension of what I had already been doing for people, with helping them. And I learned that using these different tools and techniques, I could read bodies. I could really ask questions about your body and find out what is going on. What is your liver happy? Are your kidneys functioning the way they should be? And if not, what's going on? Why are they not working well? And let's get rid of that. So that's how it started.
So, and that you've done with dowsing, from
Mhm.
dowsing. That's the thing. I'm trying to get an understanding. So, well, first of all, I remember years ago, my friends, we were together one day, and one of my friends had like a little pendulum, and my other girlfriend was pregnant. And they were putting the pendulum in front of her belly to find out if it was a boy or a girl. And so she got the answer, like it went, I guess, in one direction, and she said, "Oh, you're having a girl." And she ended up having a girl. But my question is, how do you get the answer to your question? Is it are you hearing it intuitively? Like, what
Okay.
gives you the answer?
So this is why I teach dowsing, because dowsing is a really simple tool that you can use. And there are techniques, if the pendulum goes this way, that's a yes. If it goes that way, that's a no. But I also use charts and graphs. I can give you percentages and numbers. So it's really, the pendulum will spin once you get used to using it.
Yes.
It will turn. Sometimes it turns like a helicopter,
Yeah.
it goes really fast. And it will also stop over certain, like I could hold up a list of, let's say I'm looking for a new doctor, and I write down all the names of the doctors that I'm sort of interested in working with. And I can go down the list and it will just completely stop over the one that has the best resonance, frequency, vibration with me. And when it's always how you ask the question, what kind of answer you're looking for. For instance, if I'm looking for a physician who will respect my judgments and my feelings and not just be kind of overriding everything that I want, then that's the frequency that I'm going to attract. And that's the person that the dowsing is going to lead me to. And again, dowsing is not doing the work. Your body is just using dowsing as the tool to tell you what your higher self, your higher intuition already knows. So it's just a tool, a mechanism to tune in to your intuition, your higher self. Does that make sense?
Yes. So anyone can pick up. So I have a pendulum that I use because I do Reiki on people, right? So I use this as a tool over their chakras.
Okay. And what are you asking when you do that?
Well, just to put them into alignment.
Okay.
So a lot of times when I put it over, let's say the crown chakra, it doesn't move at all. And then I could go to the third eye and it's moving really well. So I just interpret that as that chakra is strong and moving in the right direction, where the crown, if it didn't move, it needs healing, or
Right.
it needs more attention to that chakra to get it in proper alignment. And so I'm assuming that it's pretty much the same way, but yet you're asking questions. And
Well, you are as well. You are as well. You're asking, even if it's not intentional, you've already set it up with the work that you do, that when I use the pendulum, this is what I'm checking on.
yes,
This is what I'm looking for. And so your intuition automatically sends signals and connects with that person's body energy to give you that indication of whether that chakra is open and clear or not.
right.
So you are asking questions, just maybe not in physical words. It's your intention. Okay.
Right, right.
So yeah.
And you also work with animals.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about that.
Um, So I've had many cats over the years. I've had guinea pigs, I've had goldfish, of course, and I've had a couple of dogs, and it just never occurred to me that, um, I could know when they needed something, and I just, thought, well, can't you look at him and see that he needs water, or he wants you to pet him, or he want, it, a lot of us have this intuition, this knowing, but we brush it off. We don't pay attention to it. I just started tuning into it more and realizing that animals are always communicating with us. They're always sending us pictures or feelings. They don't necessarily communicate with words, but they communicate with pictures and feelings of what they want us to know. Sometimes if we're not paying attention, they'll bark, you know, like, look out, there's a car coming, you know.
Right.
Um, or they'll growl, that person, I don't trust him, stay away from him, he has bad energy. Um, Dogs are really great at that, so, and
Yeah.
cats too. Did I tell you the story about the cat with the paintings?
No.
Oh, okay, well, so I had a client who contacted me because their cat was knocking the painting off a wall. And these people were art collectors, and these were all original art pieces. And this one painting, the cat, every time they hung it up, would knock it off the wall and hiss at them if they even came close to it, would not let the dog in the room with the painting. So when I checked in with the cat said, "Get it out of here, it's evil." Maybe not in those words, but it came through so clear. Evil, get it out. So I checked in on the painting, and turned out it was a portal for really dark energy coming into the house.
Oh,
And had a lot of dark energy itself. It turns out the painting had the name of a devil, and obviously the artist was in a very bad space when they painted it. It was maybe a very interesting piece of artwork, but it had a lot of dark energy in it. So I cleared the energy, I closed the portal, they hung the painting back up, and the cat never bothered it again.
wow.
And so we then ended up clearing a whole bunch of other paintings in their house as well that had sort of not great energy, and that was a happy outcome for them. So yeah.
Well, I've heard that animals could pick up energy or also see spirit.
Mhm. Oh yeah, all the time. You see your
Yeah.
cat staring up in the corner and you're wondering what they're looking at. There's somebody visiting you, and
Yes.
they're just saying hi. So,
Yeah.
especially animals that have crossed over, will come back, and cats are very perceptive, and dogs too. But it seems like cats are really tuned into that. Um, and if you have a cat that's acting crazy, the first thing I do is check to see if there's any dark energy in the house, because they're trying to warn you, get it out of here. And so we clear that. So smudging can work for that.
Do you think that cats are more sensitive than dogs in picking up the energy or?
It's different. Cats have a different role than dogs do. The way I see it is cats are kind of energy healers. When they're needing you, that's what they're doing, is they're healing, they're clearing energy for you. Um, so they're very tuned in that way. Dogs are more tuned into you personally, and they're really always trying to take away any worries, fears, anxiety that you have, and carried it on themselves. So
Dogs do that?
dogs
Yeah.
do that, yes. Yeah, which is why, I see so many people come to me with a dog who has an illness or a pain, and it's because they've taken so much energy off their human that they really need to get outside on the ground and run around to displace that energy, send it down to the earth. If they don't get that enough, or if the energy becomes just too much for them, then it turns into an illness or a pain for them. So they're more tuned into the people. Cats are kind of not so much tuned into you, but kind of clearing the space around you. It's like, that's why cats sometimes seem real aloof. Um,
Right.
they're they're really like master energy healers and always watching the space around you and making
Right.
sure it's
I
clear.
always felt that cats are very independent. Like they're
Mhm,
not, because I always had dogs and
mhm.
my dogs always followed me at they were always underfoot. I was always tripping on them because they were always right next to me. I never had a cat. I'm not really a cat person as much as dogs, but I know from my friends who tell me like cats are independent. They're not following you all around the house. They're not underfoot. But then some are, but some are not, like, where I think dogs are normally more attached to their owner, where
Mhm.
a cat is more independent. So that would explain why that is.
And cats can be very cuddly as well. It just depends on that particular cat and also your human energy. I mean, um, I know people who have cats who sleep with them every night and are like curled up right with them all night long. But it's a person who is maybe an energy healer themselves and or they're very tuned in to their spiritual side of their life. And so they're very aware of when they have energy that needs to be cleared and they're conscious of how they take care of themselves. And and so the cat maybe the house is more clear and the cat doesn't have as much work to do. So there's a whole different lot of things that come into play there, but
Right,
there's also the different personalities of the animals. Some are just more cuddly and some are more, I'm only here to do a job, so
right, right.
it just depends.
So my mom, she was bit by a dog when she was very little. So she's got this fear of, and she doesn't like dogs. She's fearful of them. And the interesting thing is that anytime she goes to someone's house who has a dog, they always are gravitating to her.
Mhm,
And she doesn't want them and they're there.
mhm.
And so does the dog pick up that energy that she's fearful, or like why do they gravitate to someone who doesn't like them and is fearful of them?
So what I'm getting right now is that they they want her to love them. They want her to know that they're okay, that
Oh,
it's safe. And and there's a the when I see animals attack people, it's
yes.
usually an animal that is not in their own spirit. They're carrying some dark energy. Um, for instance, when our second golden retriever came into our life, cute little 8-week-old golden retriever puppy, he very quickly became a resource guarder. And if you know what that is, it's they become extremely aggressive if you come anywhere near their food or sometimes even near their person, and they will attack. And we had an animal trainer come in and she said, you need to put him down. He's not going to grow out of this. It's just going to get worse. And of course, we didn't do that, but we started doing energy work with him, found out that he was carrying some very dark energy. He had come from a not great place, from a kind of a puppy mill kind of place. And so we cleared that energy. It took a couple of days of really going back and re-clearing because there was so much dark energy on him, and he completely changed. Um, he became the sweetest, most wonderful dog that little babies could crawl all over him. You could pick up his food while he was eating it and walk away with it, and he would just sit there and look at you. It's like,
Wow.
yeah. So it wasn't his energy, and so when I see animals attack, it's because they're carrying trauma or they're carrying dark energy. And so it feels like these dogs are coming up to her almost like wanting to make amends for the attack that she had because they can sense that she's afraid and they want her to know that they're okay, that they're safe, that she's safe. The other thing that I would do is I'd be happy to work with her because we can, through different energy techniques, we can completely clear those triggers. of fear and anxiety from memories of something that happened. So that's not a really difficult thing to do, but it's something that I love helping people with.
So with the dog, how did you, with your golden retriever, was it Reiki energy that you were doing? And did
I'm not a Reiki person. It's mostly asking, what is this? And sometimes I'll bring in my guides and angels to assist in clearing, taking away dark energies. Depends on what it is. But usually the thing that I have people remember is that there is no other energy on this planet that is really more powerful than you. The only thing that is more powerful is your fear. And your fear is what attracts those energies in the first place and feeds them, gives them. I'm not even gonna go there, but anyway, so yeah, it's fear. So yeah, you can release these energies just by calling them up and saying, I see you, you're not welcome here. And we go through a couple different techniques to just let them go and let them release. Sometimes they just need to go to the light, sometimes they need to go far away and be locked away. It depends on the energy. But yeah, get rid of them. And know that you're powerful enough to do that.
wow. So so you work with animals and you work with people.
I mostly work with people, yes.
Okay. So for most of your clients that come to you, what is it that the general, like what is it that they're looking to improve upon, or is it different for every single person?
So often they first come to me because they're not feeling well.
Physically.
And there's some physical thing going on. And we will find that, or it's an emotional thing, like they're just feeling sad or anxious all the time. And so those are the things that we find out, what energies are they carrying, if it's trauma from childhood, or if it's something even past life energy. You can actually, and science has proven that you can carry emotional energy from your ancestors, and it gets passed down on the DNA. So if your great grandfather was in a war and saw his best friend blown up, that's a huge trauma energy. And it gets embedded on their DNA and gets passed down through generations. But when we can find it, it's like when you call it up, it's almost like, thank you for seeing me. Now I can leave. And we can get rid of those energies and release them.
Wow.
And that can make a huge difference emotionally, mentally, and physically. Like if you're storing anger in your liver for something that wasn't even yours, it was, one of your parents was traumatized as a child, and you're carrying all of that anger as well. We can release that from your liver so your liver can function better. So
how many people go through life with these feelings and just live with them, right? Without realizing that there's a way that this is even a thing, that it's ancestral, and you can't, because I may say, well, I grew up in a household, I didn't have any trauma, but I don't know about past generations down the line that had the trauma that I took on. So for me, like I am a type of person, I am fearful. I'm fearful, like just thinking about the way the world is fearful for me. And nothing has ever happened in my particular life, but generationally, yeah. I mean, I know like my dad served in the Korean War, and my grandfather, I don't know what war he served in, but there, yeah. So
yeah, my
that
parents grew up during the Depression.
my
And,
dad, my dad was born in 1929,
mhm,
and his mentality throughout my whole life was lack.
mhm.
There was never enough. It was always like that.
Sure.
Um, every week, I could remember him writing out his bills and him telling us, "Oh, we're not going to have enough money to eat," which was never the truth, by the way. We
Mhm.
always ended up having food on the table, but he
Mhm.
always had that fear. And
Yeah.
I understand that he grew up in that generation where, he walked around with shoes that they had to put cardboard in the shoes because they couldn't afford to put new soles on the old shoes, and they were hand-me-downs and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But I definitely feel that I was affected by his mentality.
Mhm.
And
So you picked up not only ancestral beliefs, but that real life, teachings from
yeah,
your parents of there's not enough and we have to be careful and we can't spend too much and no, we can't have that or it's too much for us or maybe even we don't deserve that. Some of those teachings also get embedded at a very young age. And so I work a lot with little child energy to help you go back to when those first teachings came in and help you see them and release them so that they're no longer part of your experience as
yeah.
well.
As a child, witnessing my dad do stuff like that,
Mhm.
or even I could remember, like, if we had to go somewhere, and so he never drove there before, and obviously this was before GPS and everything. He would be so anxious and so fearful of the whole thing, and I used to not like that in him. Like, it used to bother me that he was like that, but yet now as an adult, I go through the same thing that he used to, and it makes me so angry because it's like I saw it in him. I didn't like it in him, but yet I am a lot like him.
Mhm.
And I try to
Right.
fight against that all the time, but it's I guess it's ingrained in you, right? And
So, yeah, it's being carried by you. So
yes,
that belief that the world is not safe is something that so many people carry. Whether it's past life energy. Maybe you had a past life in a country where there was war and you're still carrying that energy of is it safe to even leave my house? Is it safe to do anything? You know, um, I'm getting a big yes on that. So would you like to release that?
yes,
Okay,
because fear is crippling.
yeah. Um, it's being carried in your heart, but also in your adrenal glands, mostly in your adrenal glands. And that can affect your energy overall. If the adrenal glands are not functioning well and you're carrying this fear energy, that can just, that can be a reason why they're not functioning as well. Why you might be tired a lot or um, just feel like taking naps all the time, whatever.
I don't feel like that, but I have Hashimoto's disease.
Okay. Okay.
I have hypothyroidism.
Uh-huh. Um, so interesting. As soon as you said Hashimoto's, I immediately heard World War II. Um, okay. So some of that fear energy, some of that trauma energy from past wars is in the thyroid is so sensitive. And it's your throat chakra. And throat chakra is all about being able to speak your truth and be who you really are in this world, who you came to be. And if you're holding on to fear in your thyroid, then you know, how can you possibly get on stage and talk to huge audiences of people and tell them I'm an energy healer or, whatever it is that you want to tell them, right? So the the health, okay, 20%. All right, let's just look at the thyroid for a minute. Is there anything else that the thyroid is carrying? So I get a yes. So I'm also getting the energy of worthless.
Worthless?
Yeah, the energy of worthless, and it's also coming from your father's side of the family. Not necessarily his, but it's been handed down through him. So that fear and that worthless panic. I'm getting taken for granted from your mother. So that's coming in as well. Okay.
What do you mean by that?
Taken for granted energy, that feeling of well, taken for granted is the sometimes the energy of a martyr, sometimes the energy of I work so hard and nobody appreciates me. That kind of energy.
Is that coming from my mom, or is it the energy you're picking up from me?
It's in you, passed down through her side of the family. Okay. So let's just take a moment to clear your thyroid. So right now we're actually doing that. We're bringing in some angels to help carry these energies away. And once we identify these energies again, we can just send them right down to the earth. And the earth will take them and suck them up like fertilizer. And they can be turned into daffodils and butterflies. They no longer have to be in your body. So allowing all those energies, that fear, that worthless energy, that taken for granted energy, leaving your thyroid gland and leaving your adrenal glands. Completely now, no longer serves you. And we're also clearing this from all generations, past, present, and future. A little bit more. I'm getting some disbelief here. Is this really possible? So yes, you are powerful. You are just a powerful divine creator, and you are recognizing these energies and allowing them to leave now. They no longer have to be here. They can turn into something fun. Those are clear. So the adrenal glands went from 40% to 80%. There might be some more things there, but that's to start, okay? The thyroid gland went from almost 0 to 50.
Wow.
So again, there's more there. That would be like a whole session, but at least it's a start, and that's how that can work. It can really work pretty quickly because your body doesn't want to hold on to these low vibration frequencies of fear and doubt and anxiety and trauma and all of that.
It holds me back in a lot of ways. Yes.
Yeah. So you don't need to keep that.
I do feel a little bit better, I have to tell you.
What else is possible, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's incredible. Yeah. So now you work with not just women, right? You work with children, with anyone who wants to come to you, but also do you do it virtually a lot as
Yeah,
well?
it's most of my clients are virtual. They're all over
They
the
are.
world. So yeah. I have the only thing that I really do in person is the access bars process. Do you know access?
No.
Okay, so access has a lot of different processes, access consciousness, but access bars is the original process. And basically it works with 32 points on the head. And so a person is, I get them really comfortable in like one of those gravity chairs. cozy with a blanket, and I am just sitting at their head and touching 32 points on their head. The whole process takes about an hour and a half. And as I hold these particular points, I'm opening a channel between my hands for the energy that's stored in those points to be released. So like one of the points is money. One of the points is control. Another point is creativity. Another point is peace. There are all these different points relating to your body, and you store beliefs in these different points, and just by opening it, we can release it. What's so interesting is it's been around for about 30 years now, and neurologists have studied this process where they hook people up to brain scans while they're having their bars run, and they can see that it almost instantly puts you into theta brain. People will tell me that, they're just carrying on a conversation and all of a sudden they just can't talk anymore. It was like, how you feel like when you're just falling asleep and you can't move. It's like you go really deep really quickly. And most people, they feel like they fell asleep, but they're actually just going into a really deep theta brain experience. And they come out of that feeling like they've slept for 8 hours. So, excuse me, I've had CEOs of companies come to me like once or twice a week, just because they're in such a high pressure job that they're carrying all this anxiety. And when they have their bars run, it all just dissipates. So that is one process. If you're local to me, I am happy to work with you. And if you're not, you can go to accessbars.com and find a practitioner near you, because it's a really powerful process.
Wow. Yeah, I never heard of that before. Access bars.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you suggest for someone who has anxiety over always being fearful of, so let's say you have sinus pressure. And right away you go to, oh, is it a brain tumor? And why do people, because I know so many people that take it to the extreme right away. Like, what causes that? And what can you do? Because, like, I know someone who goes through this, and sometimes when I'm talking to her, I'll say, why don't you just try to think of it as, not jump to the bad conclusion right away, like I'm dying. Why can't you think of it as your body's way of just trying to tell you something? Like, why do people go to the extreme and think that they're dying right away when they have a symptom of some kind?
So they may be holding on to a really strong belief that they have no control. If they don't have control, then something else is going to hurt them, kill them, maim them, injure them in some way. There's a lot of fear there, and the fear needs to have an identity. So they give it the identity of brain tumor or, cancer or something. Also, what I've really found a very strong link between nutrition and fear, anxiety, which people may not understand that. They may not realize how strong this is. One of the products that I'm working with now that I'm really excited about actually can take heavy metals and forever chemicals out of your body. And these chemicals, especially the heavy metals, do you know that parasites thrive if you have heavy metals in your body? Because that's what they feed on.
No, I didn't know that.
And parasites can just create so much havoc, because if they're in your gut affects your brain, affects your emotions, affects your heart, everything. And so if you've got heavy metals in your body, that's like food for these parasites. And so it's a whole cycle. So when people come to me with whatever is going on with them, whether they have a serious illness or they have anxiety or they're just stuck in their relationships and they don't know why they can't love themselves, or, whatever it is, the first thing I want to do is make sure their bodies are clean. And so I get them started with detoxing. And it's a really, really simple detox. It's a so simple detox that you can give it to a newborn infant and get rid of those, because we know that babies are born now with over 200 chemicals in their bodies. And so helping children especially is such a big deal. We've seen amazing results with autism and ADHD with kids using this one product. So I get people on that. Let's get your body clean. Then let's put some good nutrition into your body. There's a process that I do where I go through 200 different foods and ask your body, do you want this? Do you want this? How much of it do you want? What is the benefit of it for you? Is it 20% positive, or is it 100% positive, or is it 40% negative? So you get a really clear picture of the nutrition, the foods that your body is craving and what it doesn't want. And then we look at supplements. Are there any supplements that your body needs just to get back to optimal health? So we look at nutrition. And then over all of that, we're working with the energy. We're working on releasing triggers that cause fear. We're working with little child to see what energy you're holding on to from your childhood, what beliefs, what ancestral beliefs, what trauma you might be triggered by, and helping you release all of that. So it's a whole spectrum of working first with the body and then with the spirit to help clear emotions and clarity and all of that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So the first time that we met to talk about the podcast, you recommended to me that I take a product for heavy metals, and you sent me the link for it.
Mhm.
And I wanted to ask you about that because about 3 or 4 months prior to me meeting you, I have celiac disease, and I ended up in the hospital because I was cheating a lot, and I thought I was having a heart attack, but I was actually having a reaction to the gluten. And not long after I came out of the hospital, I saw a psychic medium. And one of the first things that she said to me was to do a heavy metal detox. And then you told me that. And I didn't listen to her. And so far, I haven't bought your product, but I'm planning to, because I looked over the whole website. And so I am planning to. But what did you pick up something from me, or is that just a recommendation that you tell people as a starting point to detox from heavy metals?
It's both. It's yeah, it's something that I know that pretty much everybody has, because if
Yes.
you're breathing air in the United States, you're breathing in heavy metals from car exhaust. If you're drinking water, if you're eating food, it's even in pesticides, it's in herbicides, it's in the soil. So pretty much everybody has those. So it's one of those things that I'm really starting to recommend to everybody. But yeah, if you've got any kind of, if your body's just not functioning the way that you want it to, it's probably because you're, okay, so let me start here. Your body is a miraculous instrument. It can heal itself. Your body can heal itself until it gets so overwhelmed with toxins that it doesn't know where to start, that it just can't do it anymore. And that's when we start seeing people getting really serious illnesses. So you have to take care of it. You have to help it, because we're living in a really toxic world right now. I mean, I love the planet Earth, and if we all lived in the woods and ate, organic foods, we'd be great,
Yeah.
away from cities and cars and everything else. But we don't. It's not practical. So we have to give our body some extra support. So clearing out the heavy metals, clearing out the forever chemicals, even microplastics. The stuff will even grab those. And microplastics are, I mean, we're finding that microplastics are actually in breast tissue and prostate tissue. And that is something that's really scary for people who are having issues there. So I just wrote a blog about this over the weekend. You know, how to protect men from those issues. So, and sperm counts are dropping because of microplastics. So yeah, let's get the toxins out. Let's find out what emotional energy you've inherited that you don't need anymore and clear it out. Let's get some good nutrition into your body and help you remember how powerful you really are, so that none of these things keep coming back.
Right. So in my family, dementia is prominent. I had 3 of my aunts on my dad's side that died of dementia, and my mom has a sister who recently passed from dementia, and I do test positive for the gene. So I'm very concerned about that, and I believe that heavy metals plays a role in that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Aluminum for sure.
Yes,
Cadmium,
yes,
probably mercury and lead as well.
yes.
You know, arsenic. But did you know that you can turn off genes?
No,
Yeah. So do you have the gene? Yes. Can we turn it off? Yes. Would you like to do that?
of course.
Okay. So we're just going to ask right now to turn off. I don't even need to know what number that gene is. I don't need to know that. So we are asking now that this gene be completely neutralized, turned off in your body. You don't need it. It's not serving you. Let's turn off that dementia gene. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Okay. Okay. That's turned off.
You know, I just got a little swirl in my head, like I got a little dizzy.
Looking at the DNA, right? Yeah. And genes can also be turned on. What if you want to turn on the gene for super long life, or
I do.
so there's all oh, there's so many things we can do. Yeah, there's lots of possibilities there.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, this detoxing, getting those metals out of your body is important. Getting all the chemicals out of your body. I mean, even if you eat organically, most of the time, and you drink filtered water, you know, you didn't probably do that all your life. And some of those things could be stored a very long time in your body. But also you're breathing, you know, and maybe you're at a restaurant where you drink water and or eat food that isn't organic. You
Right.
know, things can get into your body, and we just have to support the body and help it to clear all of that. So
Yeah. See, when I look at you, Mary, I see the picture of health. I mean, you look radiant. You look very calm and peaceful. I don't see, like, I have frown lines. I don't see any lines on your face, and it doesn't look like, you had a facelift. You just look naturally healthy and peaceful and completely, you make me feel peaceful.
oh, good, good. I
Yeah,
love that. Yeah.
the energy that I receive from you is, yes, one of health and peace. And like I said, when you said about doing the heavy metal detox, I was like, wow, I was just told this by someone else. So clearly I need to do that. I wanted to ask you one other thing about, so my Hashimoto's disease, and I know that your thyroid sits in your throat, and I've heard um, when you hold back and you don't speak your truth, and you're afraid to voice your opinions, and it manifests with your thyroid. And I've also heard that having some kind of major trauma will also set off your thyroid, or Hashimoto's disease.
Mhm.
And so I was married and was in a, relationship, but obviously I'm not married any longer. So, it wasn't a good relationship. And the timing of my Hashimoto's disease was the exact timing that my marriage was falling apart.
Mhm.
And in my marriage, if I was to talk about my feelings, they were always shut down. Oh, insignificant. And so, yeah, I held in my all of my trauma. I held in how I wanted to express myself, and I feel like it did manifest into this thyroid condition that I have, which then I believe set off me getting celiac disease. So it was a chain reaction.
So one thing is coming up. Our words are so powerful, right? So when you say, I have Hashimoto's, you're signaling your body to have Hashimoto's. When you say instead, my thyroid is healing, you can start signaling your body in a different way. Your body, every cell in your body is always, always listening to your thoughts and your feelings, because that's what creates the hormone signals that move through your body. So in this relationship where your voice was shut down, where your words were shut down, you were signaling your body to shut down the thyroid, shut down the throat, because it wasn't safe to speak your truth.
Right.
Right. And that's the thyroid feeling that energy of shutting down. Also an energy of feeling worthless. I'm not good enough. I'm not doing my job right. I should just stop trying, that kind of thing. Um, it's so interesting when people first hear me talking about this, they're like, you mean my liver has feelings? And I'm like, yes, your liver has feelings, your liver has a brain, your liver has consciousness. What's so cool is science is actually starting to put out this message that every atom in the universe has consciousness. Every atom in the whole universe, the stars have consciousness. Every cell in your body has consciousness. So what are you telling your cells? First of all, start telling them, I love you. You're doing such a good job. I so appreciate you for everything that you're doing for me. You're just amazing, right? Start communicating that to every cell in your body. If your toe is hurting, tell your toe, I'm so sorry I ran into that bed. I apologize, and I love you because you're healing so fast. And I'm just sending you a whole bunch of love, So every cell in your body is listening to your thoughts and feeling your heart energy. Okay. So you can start sending heart energy to your thyroid and saying, I see you as so powerful, and I am allowing you to start being stronger now. I am allowing my voice to be stronger. Here I am doing this podcast and putting my voice out to the world. And I need you, thyroid, to come along with me and allow my throat chakra to really be open and powerful. Right? Really bringing that,
Powerful in itself.
yeah,
Yeah.
bringing that energy in, right?
Yes.
And then supporting your body physically at the same time that you're supporting it emotionally with love and healing energy. Okay.
Okay, so let me give you one last thing about my body, and that is with my lungs. 2 years ago, I found out that I have bronchiectasis, and your lungs is where you hold grief. Am I correct on that?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. And I
So
feel that
grief,
that's also connected.
yeah, grief over your marriage ending.
Yes,
Yeah.
probably.
Um, so the thing about grief, we can do some clearing on that, but the thing about grief is that you have to know that it's not something that you have to keep forever, but that you have to actually feel it. You have to sit down with it and recognize it and say, I see you, I feel you, and just wrap your heart around it. Your heart is there encased between your lungs, and they all function together. There's really a tie there. So allow your heart energy to expand and just kind of wrap your lungs in this hug of, I see this grief. This is in my past. This is a lesson that I've learned. And I got to experience that love. And so I'm grateful for that. But I'm also letting go. There's more to this. It's not
Yes,
something I can do in a few minutes. There's more to this, but we can work with that grief so that it's behind you and it's not triggering you anymore, and your lungs can take a deep breath.
wow. Mary, this has been great. It has been great.
Thank you.
Um, so tell my audience, so they could work with you virtually. How do they find you? Give all your information.
Okay.
Yeah.
My website is pretty comprehensive. It's thejoyofbeingwell.com, thejoyofbeingwell.com. And you can go there, and if you want to click on schedule and energy work, the first thing that comes up is a free discovery call where you can schedule that with me, and I will do a quick body scan and tell you what I'm finding that might be not working at its optimum, and give you some recommendations of how to proceed with that. So there's also the nutrition scan there if you want to just start with that and find out what foods your body wants. There are also packages there that which I highly recommend for people, because it's usually more than one thing that we got to work with.
Right.
But you can kind of see my whole philosophy, all the things that I work with. Everything is on thejoyofbeingwell.com.
And then you also have a product line that you represent.
Yeah, it's on there. It's on there as well.
Okay.
So the
And that's where
detox,
you would get the heavy metal detox, which you
right?
sent me the link for.
You can see the link at the top that says detox, and click on that, and it'll take you through some really interesting information about what is in your body, maybe, and how it might be affecting you, and then links to how to get it started. But if anybody who wants to email me and just ask questions, it's mary@thejoyofbeingwell.com. Just email me, and we can set up a conversation and talk about how to get started with any of this.
Perfect, perfect. Any final thoughts, Mary, before I let you go?
The biggest thing that I try to help everybody understand is how powerful you really are, that there's nothing out here that can really hurt you. I want to get you to a place where you can wake up in the morning and just feel excited about getting out of bed and starting your day, and know that you are more powerful than you believe, and life is supposed to be fun.
Wow, love it. Thank you. Okay. Mary, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And for my listeners, I will put all of Mary's information again in the show notes, so you could go back, you could go to her website, check it out, schedule an appointment with her. And until the next time, be well, stay happy, and bye for now. So I'm just going to stop recording.